Everything good, bro. Getting ready to celebrate a birthday.
Good.
My birthday is Friday, so just when your birthdays start coming, especially when you get older, you start putting things in perspective in your life.
Always. You start thinking, you like, should I lose a couple pounds? Should I start doing this? Should I stop eating beef? All types of things happen.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you just get off of work, or?
Definitely. I got off at 4 today.
Oh, okay. That's what's up, man. Well, hey, bro, thanks for hopping on here, man. I had to get you on here. Obviously, it's unfortunate because I feel like we gotta do this every year where there's all kinds of different issues with police brutality amongst urban communities, and we got to talk about it. Like, there's the sensitivity that comes. I started this podcast last year, and season 1, and right after like the George Floyd incident, the Breonna Taylor thing, I got a friend in New York who's a 17-year police officer, and I got him on there. I got an attorney on there. He's a criminal law attorney. And we had a great conversation about it, man. I think it's just good to get perspective from you guys. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Well, Kemba, just tell people real quick, bro. Like, I've known you for years. I know you're in law enforcement. But just talk to as much as you could about what you do.
At the last 2 years, I've been working downtown. Right now, I primarily patrol transit areas.
Okay.
And the city basically got a big homeless problem. So I deal with a lot of homeless every day. Downtown, you got a lot of retail thefts and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that. Ain't been too bad as previous years, but I'm slowing down.
Yeah, how many years you been on the force?
Got 14 and a half now.
Wow. That's a lot for a young man like you, bro.
The first 8 flew by, man.
Yeah.
And more so the last 5 has been like, with all the killings and police brutality, is like, it's hard to even talk to the public because soon as they see you, they like, get out of my face, you a sellout. And I'm like, I'm still the same person. Like,
yeah,
just because this situation happened over here, over there, ain't got nothing to do with me, even though I wear blue, is like I'm stuck.
Yeah. No,
I'm not trying to hear it.
I was going to ask you about that too. Like, a lot of people don't know the origin of the police force started, the earliest back in like the 1700s. And I was reading something. It said the earliest it was called slave patrol back in the 1700s.
I did read about that. I did.
Yeah, and that was the beginning origin of like our police here in this country. And I've always said, when you have something that, its origin, its basis is based in something that's oppressive, that's based in, something that's not pro-life, especially for minorities, it's gonna always have a bad name in a sense, and then it's always gonna be a tough job too, because of what you're having to overcome. Do you feel like, given those origins and then the history of the police and its relationship with the minority communities, do you feel like that's what keeps people mostly away from wanting to, embrace you or even put police officers in a positive light?
I think bad experiences play a lot of role in it because I'm pretty popular. Every time I have a friend who has a problem with a cop or an incident happen or a video is shown, I get like 100 calls. And it's like they say as a cop, you need to have friends who are not cops. I specialize in that. Like I got a million of y'all to talk to, I could vent to, and it'd be cool. Yeah. But it's like, when these incidents happen, I feel like the videos is never long enough to see both parties. And I feel like people already have an opinion already. Yeah. And then they just how it plays out with like the news, the pages, the grams. By the time the truth is available, it's already too late. Yeah. Everybody already had an opinion about it. Right. Yeah. And the media is gonna they're gonna kind of censor it the way that they want to sensationalize it. Yeah. I'm gonna speak a little about the media. So even like me, I was a victim of violence. At 16, I was shot 9 times. I didn't know that. I was shot in my ribs, 2 in the back, and 3 in each leg. So when that came across the news, they made me 20 years old, and they said I was 20. I was 16, and they said the shooting was due to drug sales or something. Yeah. It was a group of kids on the corner. Like, didn't anyone sell drugs there? At that time, that place, drugs was a problem for that block, and they wanted to just push that. So I fast forward, and I'm on a job, and I see a lot of things happening, and it comes across the news. By the time the news have the story, is so far from the truth that that's not why this even happened. Yeah, it's crazy. And it's like the news causes these problems. Yeah, and it's just that. Right. They don't get in trouble or anything for it. Yeah, the news definitely has the power to formulate the narrative. And I see it all day, man. Yeah. And it's just crazy because I feel like even this week, so police was held over for protests yesterday. So I come in today and I'm thinking, I'm gonna get held over. But I realized held over. What do you mean by that? You got to stay over the time you would be off. All right, got you. So I noticed the protests usually are bigger when it's hot outside. So I'm looking at the weather, and I know Tuesday is a good chance to be held over. Yeah. Because of the protests. Because the news is going to be out there, and it's like a setting. You get the weather, you get the news, you get the helicopter, and then it's a show. Yeah. And then it dies down, and then it happens again. Right. Yeah, it's crazy. Bro, I was looking, just preparing myself for this interview. Right. You police in Philadelphia. Right. So what I read, and this surprised me when I read this, last year, Philadelphia had almost 500 murders in Philly. Right. But even with that, out of all your major cities, your 34 major cities, Philadelphia is only ranked 23rd in crime rate. What's your opinions on that? I mean, I traveled a lot, and the thing so scary here in Philly is that they're not gangs. It's just random people who get pissed off and flip out. As opposed to Chicago got gangs. Like, it's a gang. LA got gangs. New York got gangs. Philly just got loose cannons.
Yeah.
Like they flip out, or they upset about something, or you had like you was on the gram, you was talking, and I'm gonna see you.
Yeah.
And that's anywhere though. Like it's been shootings on SEPTA. It's been at like cabarets, rec centers. They be like, oh, he was outside, but he's in the house and he still gets shot.
It's over stupid stuff.
Like right now, it's looking like the 90s, man.
Yeah.
The 90s was very dangerous in Philly.
Well, yeah, I saw last year, it was like almost 500 murders. That was the first time since the 1960s, something like that. But yeah, like I said, it's still only ranked 23rd out of 34. But I think you make a good point. Like Philly's not dealing with gangs, so you're not getting gang violence like you would in your other major cities, huh?
Here go another scary thing. It was supposed to be a pandemic. You're supposed to be in the house.
Yeah.
And it got to 499. So what's going to happen this year when people about to come back out?
People are out.
Yeah.
I just saw something on the news a couple of weeks ago, man. Kid, like 16 years old, out in like Norristown, the bowling alley.
Yeah.
You that joint?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, we went in there and shot up a bunch of people. Like it was over something. Like you said, it was over probably some beef or something.
I don't know if that was a gambling thing, because I saw a few things on the gram.
Yeah.
A week prior to that, but who knows? But I mean, since then,
like gambling on like a bowling game or something.
Yeah.
Oh, they do that out there?
They gamble anything anywhere, man. You can gamble bowling, you can gamble anything.
Gotcha.
But since then, it's been a 6-year-old shot, 9-year-old shot. Today I just read a young girl was shot about an hour ago. And they keep saying the city gotta fix this. I don't think it's a city problem. I think it starts at home.
Of course.
Because the city can have a press conference and everyone says, oh, this has to stop. You get the politicians, you get the mayor, you get the pastors and the preachers and everything. They've been doing that for the last 20 years and people still dying.
Yeah.
And it's at an alarming rate.
Right.
So it's like, when are we going to help ourselves?
Right. Well, that poses a question. So, like, what you get from people that don't live in these inner cities is you get this narrative. Well, they're worried. There's so much worried about police brutality and police officers killing each other, but they're killing each other. What's your opinions when you hear that?
I definitely hate that saying, because I mean, blacks kill blacks, white kill white, Spanish kill Spanish. So that doesn't make sense at all.
Right.
Black people are in poverty here, clearly. Right. But I feel like a lot of the laws are made to target blacks.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that with confidence because I'm a cop. And when I read stuff, it's like, if you sell drugs close to a playground or like a church, it's like, it's a higher charge.
Yeah.
But if you got cocaine, it's a lesser charge. It's a whole bunch of rules in there that target black areas.
Right. Yeah, I tell people, man, I feel like the number one contributor to violence is poverty. If you look at the numbers, you look at all the crime rate numbers, your higher crime rates also match with your higher poverty rates. So in most cases,
want to say
if you're higher on the poverty rate, you're more than likely high on the crime rate.
Yeah, but a lot of reported crimes is only in the poverty areas. Because it's crimes in the suburbs, it's killings in the suburbs. It's just, it ain't talked about.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's good perspective.
Yeah. They had a shooting here at Walmart. And the Walmart is literally right outside of the city. And they talked about it briefly, and then it was like gone. Like,
what Walmart was it?
Walmart on Cedarbrook Plaza. The guy, he was high. He grabbed somebody's gun and started shooting in there or something. But they didn't talk about it a lot. It was in and out.
Yeah.
As we're in the hood, they're going to talk about that one until the next one happens, and then to the next one.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that poses a question. So right now, and this happens every year, and then it's just nothing. It becomes nothing but inaction. But Congress and our Senate is getting a lot of pressure from constituents to formulate gun reform laws. What's your opinion on gun reform bills and laws being passed?
All right. Now I'm gonna talk as a victim of
gun violence.
Guns don't kill people. Stupid people with guns kill people. Now, I say that because if you make these stricter laws on guns, 90% of these killings is with illegal guns. They haven't stopped no guns from coming in the last 20 years. And now they got ghost guns. You can buy gun parts, part by part. You get it home and put it together. Or you could go on YouTube and buy a 3D printer and make your own gun. So I feel like those gun laws is going to hurt people that could legally have a gun to protect themselves and family.
That's interesting. So what do you think? Do you think our Congress, Senate, what do you think they should do to kind of curb this number? I mean, right now, I think we're up to like 48 mass shootings already, and we're only in April.
Do you know what a mass shooting is, or a terrorist act?
From my understanding, what a mass shooting is they just count the number of victims. So when they say
how
mass
many?
shooting, 48 people died, right? Is that right? It's not incidents?
For one incident, how many people you think have to die for it to be a mass?
More than
shooting?
One.
That's really good. So a mass shooting or like a terroristic act is usually more than 2 or 3.
Yep.
So now that we have that there, how many terrorist acts have really happened in Philly?
In Philly?
Yeah. Every other day is like a double or a triple shooting here. So there's a lot of terrorist acts, but people don't think of a terrorist act unless it's like with an assault rifle, or if it's at like a business or something. But all these are terrorist acts. This is putting PTSD on so many people. It put it on civilians. It puts it on cops. Puts it on everybody. Because, granted, when you become a cop, it takes a year, max. 90% of the way I patrol and act is common sense and street smarts. The academy don't teach you that. So if I'm watching the news and I'm seeing this shooting, that shooting, this shooting, and that shooting, and this shooting, and that shooting, and now I'm working, just say it's not me. I'm just a regular kid. I went to private school from the Northeast. I want the job. It's a good job. I started. I'm a cop now. Once these shootings keep happening and happening, you're going to be scared.
Yeah.
When a person is scared, bad things happen. This is not the job to be scared or timid or just to do this job in Philly, urban, to be around all types of people, cultures, races, genders, straight, gay, anything. You have to be cultured. You have to be a people person.
Yeah.
You have to do community work. I feel like all cops should do things in the community.
So let me ask you, why are you saying that? So we had the incident, the recent incident here with the cop. Somebody asked me the other day, well, do you think it was racist motivated? And I said, no. You know, the cop in Minnesota that used the gun, she said she was going for her taser, but she shot him. Do you feel she lacked the ability to go in that situation and feel comfortable policing somebody of a different race? Like, what do you think motivated that? Or do you feel like it was just gross negligence?
I'm very upset at that video. Number one,
body cam.
I'm not sure if,
There's a body cam.
Right, but I'm upset at the video because I don't want to say this the wrong way. So even before she shot the guy, she almost shot her partner.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
Her partner's black too. So so
but she was the only one to pull a taser though. Or try to she was the only one to draw a weapon. Nobody else did.
Right, but there's like 5 things in that thing that bothers me before I even play race.
Yeah.
She almost shot her partner first.
Yeah.
She was the third cop. She was behind another cop. So
she was supposed to be there just in a supportive role.
When you're behind another cop, you're not even supposed to have your gun out forward. It's supposed to be down. Secondly, you can see on the camera, she has her arm out.
Yeah.
Number 3, as you know, you have to turn the taser on. The taser don't just shoot. You gotta flick it on, and I'm not gonna go that far. I was gonna show you the difference of a gun and a taser, but I'm not gonna do that.
Go grab it.
I don't have my taser home. Does that work?
Oh, okay. All right.
But the handle on a gun is about this big.
Yeah.
The handle on a taser is about half of that. So at what time did she not realize she's screaming taser, taser, taser? You can clearly see is a black gun and she's putting it forward.
And she had the gun in her hand for about a good
past her partner. Right, but she's basically shooting behind her partner, but she has it in there. That's a definite no-no. They don't train that.
To draw a weapon at all.
They don't train that in shooting, and like you don't tuck it in there. It's just something that you don't do. As her pulling it out, I don't know the directives of that police department, but in my police department, I definitely would not get justified of pulling out a gun there. He wasn't a threat. It wasn't a cop in front of the car either.
There should have been a cop in front of the car?
No, I'm saying she had
got you.
It was no right for her to pull it out.
Yeah. I saw the old Philadelphia police commissioner come on TV and said they should have just let him go.
Ross?
Yeah. He said they should have just let him go for, I think he had like a misdemeanor warrant, and they would.
Do you know what the misdemeanor warrant was for?
Well, I actually read that it was by mistake. It was for a court appearance, and they said he was a no-show to court, but they actually sent the Zoom meeting to the wrong address. Is that right?
I don't know about that part, but the initial charge was smoking a blunt.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, but I think it's decriminalized in that state. So how do you get a warrant on something that's decriminalized?
Well, he got a warrant because of the no-show on the court date.
But it's decriminalized.
But they're saying it was for the court. It was for the no-show on the court date, not for the charge itself.
Right. But you don't go to court for something that's decriminalized.
Right, that's criminalized, right.
It's like a grass ticket.
Even had a court date, is what you're saying.
Right, yeah. So it's fault on both sides, but of course, ain't nobody tell her to shoot him.
Right.
So
what do you think should happen to her in this situation?
I think she go to jail. Of course.
The prosecutor already put her up for second degree or third degree, like manslaughter or something like that. Which, in my opinion, that's already setting it up for her to get off. What's your opinion?
I can't even say that I don't think she's going to get off, because with the actions that they've taken already now, with the George Floyd case, and I just looked at the juries on there, and it's 4 blacks, 2 black males, 2 black women. Everybody else is either white or something else. I don't even know. I can't speak on that.
Yeah. Well, they were in the George Floyd case how much other officers have came in defense of or not come in defense of the cop and basically said that he was 100% wrong pretty much and he should be in
1,000% wrong, dude.
There's usually that code of silence, or that blue, what do you call it? Blue code of silence or whatever. That's not happening in this situation.
I don't even think a blue line can fix a video. Yeah. I mean, it's on video.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can blatantly see what happened.
Right.
So that blue line ain't gonna help that.
Right. So cops are just being honest.
Yeah, being honest, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't do that. I definitely, there's no way I'm doing that.
Yeah. So you kind of talked about this a little bit. Do you feel like you're taking white officers who grew up in the suburbs, don't know much to anything about urban, they barely have any African-American friends, and they are asked to police these neighborhoods for people that they don't know, and there's an implicit bias, consciously or unconsciously, from all these folks? Do you feel like that's the biggest problem as to why there's some mismanagement of policing in these communities?
Number one, I don't even want to make it a black and white thing, because I've worked with guys who were black who literally they don't come from anywhere close to where I come from, and they're like, I want to say scared, but they definitely not
have the same struggle.
They're not in it, man.
Yeah.
Like, to be a cop in Philly, I feel like you gotta really be a part of Philly.
Yeah.
And not like the only time you've been around blacks is like sports or something. Right. That's not gonna work here.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, I do these tests and I do the run and the push-ups and the sit-ups, and then a lot of black people not passing.
What, people, for the physical stuff?
Yeah, the physical test.
I'm
gonna put it out there. A lot of black people are not in shape. They're not passing, and a lot of other races are passing these tests.
So you're saying we can't even get the right folks into the force because they can't pass the the necessary prerequisites.
Yes.
Mm.
And
That's crazy.
So to be a cop is a physical, is a background check. Some departments have a lie detector test. You got a credit check. You got reference check. They talk to your neighbors, talk to your baby mom, talk to your baby father. They literally talking to everybody.
Yeah.
Now, just think about that. They talking to everybody. You get it's a book that you get. It's called a PDQ. Anything that you don't write in this book that they find out is considered you lied. Flat out.
And what do those questions consist of usually?
Every job that you ever had. Why did you stop that job? Your kids, your aunts, your uncles, your siblings, your address, your neighbor's name. They talk to your neighbors about you. Hopefully that go good. Y'all been fighting over trash can.
Yeah.
It's a rat. They talk to everybody. I think with me, they called a teacher from like 20 years ago or something. Like they do a full background check and a lot of people not passing that and they credit is bad. There's a lot of things to be a cop.
So if your credit is bad, you can't become an officer?
No.
Wow, I didn't know that.
A cop sees a lot of money.
Right. So they figure if your credit is bad, then you're compromised.
It shows integrity. You got these bills, you're not paying them on time. Why? You have to explain everything. You had this job, and then it's a gap. You have to explain that gap.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Like they and this is after you pass the physical, the reading comprehension, and everything else.
Right. So basically you're saying, like, with all those prerequisites, we're not getting the folks who may have the intuition to go in, these tough neighborhoods of Philly or tough neighborhoods in Chicago, New York, you get on the force.
And
you're running into.
Right. And there's not a lot of people, Black people, who want to be cops.
Yeah, and that was my point earlier. When you think about the origin of the police force and just the name that the gives with everything. So let me ask you this. So what do you do? Because from what I know of you, you got a pretty good relationship with the community in many ways. What do you do to embrace the community to strengthen those relationships?
The community. So with my job, I do events with the public. Like we do drug awareness. We talk about safety. But besides the job, I've been in charge of security for the Chosen League and the Rump Classic for at least the last 11 years.
Yeah.
With that comes a lot of work. So it might be talking to players who got into trouble. Maybe they having a school issue with the league. I did book bag drives, Big Brother programs. I tutor kids. I try to do anything I can do.
Yeah.
And I've been this way for a long time.
Yeah, I know you're like a big face with the Rump Classic. That's how me and you sort of met.
Right, yeah.
So it's crazy. That's good, man. Well, hey, so like what, just kind of in your words to kind of close things out, what do you think can make things better for us on both sides? If you're talking to a fellow officer and you had to give them some advice on better policing, or if you're talking to a fellow community member, what advice can you give them to just make that interaction better?
So on the job, I'm a field training officer too. I train other cops. And when I talk to these cops who are new, I try to calm them down. I try to like basically school them how I was schooled.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't be hyped. I know you just graduated. The academy got you hyped. You want to get these guns off the street. You want to do this. You want to do that. That's not what's going on right now.
Yeah.
What you need to do is pay attention, follow a veteran cop, take notes.
Mm-hmm.
Don't jump into nothing. If you see a job, you handle the job. Don't look for nothing. Because right now, when you look, bad things happen, it seems like.
Yeah.
And as opposed to civilians, I mean, I come from the hood, man. Like
the hood.
I got family who in the feds. I got family upstate jail. So it's like, I talk to them a lot and they just not feeling cops. Mm-hmm. But I feel like a lot of talks have to happen.
Yeah.
But I feel like more police killings is happening, like more than the talks are happening. And that's the biggest problem, I think.
Yeah. So just people should just have more conversation with officers.
I think more conversation with all groups of people.
Yeah. I like that.
Like you branching out. And I think the public needs to learn about laws, like their rights in this city, this state, just in general, just be informative on what can happen, what can't happen, what's right, what's wrong.
Gotcha. All right. That's good advice, man. And you dropped some jewels for me tonight, especially the taser thing. I didn't even know that whole thing. And just
man, like I feel like that taser incident just adds to insult. Like you can't have Skittles in your hand, you can't have a hoodie, you can't have an iced tea, you can't. It was a shooting like last year or 2 years ago where the cop asked the dude for his ID. He reached for it, he shoots him.
Don't make any sense.
But the first thing people do is call me, and I'm like, I feel like you.
Yeah. Right.
Shoot, if I get pulled over, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do.
Yeah. God, it's crazy. It's crazy that we're in that place, man. But it's good that we got people like you out there in the streets for us, though, man, with your perspective and
definitely,
and your knowledge.
Definitely.
But hey, man, well, thank you for hopping on here.
For sure, man.
Let me get this video out. I think it'll be helpful to everybody. And you got to catch up soon, bro.
Hey, I'll see you at Mike's house probably.
All right, you know I'll be there.
Shout out to Mike. Shout out to him. Philly Hill Bombers too, man.
Yes, let's go. All right, my brother.
All right, man.
Later.
Yep.